Hi YouTube, Mr. Dodo8449 here. Today I'm doing a video on soldering, basically, how to solder. At the same time I'm going to show you how to make drop wires attached to a fish plate rather than to the track, as when you go to the track you can damage it or you can melt the plastic bits underneath. So basically I'm going to show you how to make this. So it's sort of two videos in one. One will show you how to make these drop wires, and the other one will show you how to make how to solder. Now instead of using, I'm going to be using wire that has got well, it's coated in flux, and it's tin lead 6040 electrical wire. Yeah, it's got some flux around the outside, but you don't need to add anything as long as you do it properly. It's taken me a few attempts to get it right, amazingly. So I just kept getting it wrong, basically, and the flux wouldn't flow properly and all things like that. So anyway, you've got to prepare your wire, which is what I'm doing now. I've already stripped the end of this piece of wire. Sorry, maybe I should have twisted him as well. Right, there we go. And then I find it's best to fold the wire back over itself, so you get like a slightly larger end. Like that, there we go. Right, now I'm going to be using fish plates. Then you can do the exact same in N gauge or whatever gauge you want. But this here is it's a sheet that usually I get them with like a sheet of 4 fish plates on them, but I've already taken 2 off. So this is just the other half of it attached again. Now the reason I do that is because it's easier to clamp it when it's attached lengthways like that, because you've just got more room on either side. It's also slightly easier because you only have to heat it once before you, well, yeah, carry on. So there we go. So we're now in there. Now the first thing you need to do, which is probably the most important thing, is to clean your tip. Now I've already done this today, so what you do is, it's just as simple as that with a bit of sandpaper. You just want to knock off anything that's dirty, because you cannot solder with a dirty tip. That's it. Then you want to get a foam sponge full of water. I use this. I don't know what you call it, but anyway, yeah, you see them in the kitchen all the time. Right, that's actually hot enough now, so that's ready to go. Right then, the first thing you need to do is to tin your soldering iron. I've already done that because I've done that once today already, and then you've got to tin your wire. So I'm just going to make sure I've got enough tin on the solder. It looks good. The reason you do this is because it allows the solder and flux mix to flow a lot better. Now the smoke you see coming off is good because it means it's melting the solder away. Well, you might be able to see it in the camera, I don't know. And then just tap it on there just to clean it off, and then we're ready to go. So clamp it in. My arm's probably covering the screen, there we go. Right, it's in the clamp. Now the way you solder is you don't put the solder onto the tip of the iron, because you won't make anything. So what you have to do is heat on the far side of it, and when you've got solder on your when you've got solder on your iron, it will flow easier, transfer the heat better, and then you just touch the other side of it and that's tinned. It's as simple as how I do the same with the other one. You need to touch it for a couple of seconds so it gets a nice bit of heat in it. There we go. Move it away, and then once you've soldered, don't touch that for at least 3 or 4 or 5 seconds till it's cooled down, and then it's ready to move. Now it's time to move on to the other bit. Now this is a little bit more tricky, mainly because it's a slightly larger bit of metal, so you need a bit more heat in it to get it going. There we go. But once again, make sure your tip's clean. And what I usually do is I actually tin the fish plate exactly the same way as last time. Now I'm going to have to hold it there for a few seconds because, as I said, it's quite a large bit to heat up. And then I tin the fish plate, and then once I've tinned that, I will show you. I'll show you on to the next thing. So just give me a second to tin it. Right, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I just stopped the camera because basically to tin it takes a couple more seconds. Right. Now the only thing which I was going to say is that when you tin it, especially when you're using solder that's covered in flux, when you first of all get your block, let's restart that. when you stick your solder onto your soldering iron, it keeps the flux on it. Anything it doesn't burn off, you really want to wipe away. Now, when you want to tin these, I found it's easier to add a little bit onto the end and don't wipe it away. Then touch that bit onto the fish plate, and you will actually see the flux will actually move first, and you'll clearly see it look like a layer of liquid or gel almost over the top of your fish plate, and then add a bit more solder and it will cover it over nicely. So now, as you can see, I've got two nice big lumps on there of solder, and to connect this bit, it's simple. Bend the ends to 90 degrees. As they've already tinned, all you have to do is heat hold it at the right angle, there we go, and pull away. Don't move it for a few seconds till it cools down. There we go. And the same on the other side. And we have it done. Right, I've just got to remove a bit of the flux. Then get my water. I've got a cup of water behind the camera, so I can just cool it down so I can touch it quickly. Then after you've done that, you then just break your fish plates apart and you've done it. It's as simple as that. You now have two fish plates soldered onto some wires, and they're good solders. You can pull them and everything and they won't come apart. And there's a second one, and I actually need a third one, so I'm going to be building that now. And this costs, well, I actually managed to buy this pack of fish plates at like a, well, what do you call it, a train or swap me, or whatever you want to call it. And you, well, yeah, I got it for £1 a pack. Then the wire, well, I just have the line wire right now, so it's probably cost me, I know, it's probably cost me 20p for three pairs. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to carry on now and finish off my other one. Hopefully you found that helpful. I'm going to show you on my layout where they're going to go in the next update video, which will be coming out soon. So hopefully, yeah, that'll be good and everything. So I hope you learned two things here. Number one is how to make drop wires attached to fish plates. The other one is how to correctly, well, how to solder with flux coated wire rather than a little bit of external flux. So anyway, yep, that is it. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, leave them below. As always, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.